So the variety show in Frankly Speaking officially starts in episode 5. And it's both hilarious and hard to watch at the same time.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another review on the Review Garden.
So pretty much in episode 5, they have all the contestants come on the show, and I find it awkward. Like, it's 4 guys and 3 girls. I'm like, why would you do it that way? Because, like, one guy is always going to be by himself. But so far, like, they've done it in a way that the guy doesn't seem alone, because I think the first game that they started, it was like the guys would go first, and then one of them got eliminated, and then the 3 girls would choose someone to partner with. So in that way, yeah, it kind of made sense. But anyway, so everybody comes. It's so awkward because he's like so shy, and even like when he was introducing himself, he was like telling people, oh, how he got fired from his job, and even though he was the one who pretty much quit, um, but yeah, the whole experience was just. And the funny thing is, he didn't have to say anything, because when JH went to introduce himself, all he did was introduce him. All he did was say his name. But um, when they did that game, the girl that was partnered with him, got hurt because he pretty much got in his head. So he went to go apologize and check to see if she was okay. But this girl has a boyfriend waiting back home. If you are on the show, you're not supposed to be having a relationship. So, but it sounded like they broke up on the phone. And you know, before the show started, um, WJ went to him and was like trying to like pretty much calm him down, that he needs 3 things. One was loyalty, one was like, action or something like that, and then pretty much trying to calm him down. So when he went to go apologize with the girl, he she was like, "Oh, let's be loyal to each other." So he was like, "Oh, okay. Well, then I got that part down." Well, the whole show she wasn't loyal to him. And I'm like, "What the hell?" And he because it can't they ask, oh, send a text to the person you're thinking about right now. Technically she was supposed to send a text to him, but she didn't. And when it was time to send the text, it was during the time that he sneezed. And and speaking of, when he sneezed, I found that to be very like disgusting, because they had food on the table, food and drinks, um and then one of the guys, he saw a mosquito, so then he was spraying that right on top of everything, and then he sprayed it on top of KB's face, and that's why he sneezed. And I'm like, isn't those things toxic? Like, isn't it deadly? Like, couldn't something had happened to him, like the mosquito repellent? So I'm like, but anyway, he sneezed, and there was something in her teeth when he was trying to write the text. So he didn't know what to say because he couldn't lie. So he just sent a random text saying, "Look in the mirror." So then the people didn't even know like who he was sending the text to. And then so pretty much it goes on. Um and they did another game where it was like this horror thing. And I'm like, because there were two different paths that they could take. And I'm like, if they go the opposite way, then it should be okay, right? Because these people had to have checked the area or they're there in the area. Well, he decided to take a different path, him and the girl. Because the um the second writer, she told him that the only reason he's on the show is to kind of provoke JH, because JH is really the star here. So her, his thing is to provoke him. So he was like, okay, well, I'm gonna go a different way. I'm not gonna go to the same path that JH chose. So while he's going over there, both of them get scared and he falls. He falls down the hill. And she like leaves him. She leaves him. But what I find weird is that the there were three people there before they went up the hill. Those three people just disappeared and they just didn't like monitor them. I just find that weird that you would just leave them in the middle of nowhere and you're not even monitoring anything, right? The only things that were in their hands were the cameras, the phone cameras on selfie sticks. So he falls down the hill. Instead of like, I don't know, going after him, she leaves him, goes back to where everyone was, and like, oh, he fell and I don't know where he is. So then WJ goes after him. She ends up like twisting her ankle, and then she goes to find him, and she did. So as they're coming back, the girl runs up to him and is like, oh my god, you're okay. I'm so sorry, like this happened to you. And I'm like, you left him and you're supposed to be quote loyal to him. um but yeah, so that was pretty much episode 5. And then at the end of episode 5, like through episode 5 though, they kept showing you the high school experience between JH and KB, because there were clues in the games right now for something, for a surprise that was gonna happen. So apparently JH and KB used to be best friend, I'm not gonna say best friends, but they used to be friends in high school. Like it was the two of them. But apparently they liked the same girl. Yeah, so they were always together, trying to hang out with this girl. So by the end of the show, the surprise was, or the little clues that they were dropping were that it was going to be about a first love. And all of the 4 guys had the same thing in common. And that was their first love was the same woman. So with JH and KB, they were in high school with her. And I think one of the guys was in college with her. And then another guy, I think he lived with her abroad or something like that. But yeah, so that was pretty much the interaction now in episode 6 between everyone. So you had the 3 girls who are kind of jealous now that there's a 4th girl coming in, and you have the 4 guys. I'm not gonna say all 4 of them, but like half of them. The other 2 guys were um pretty much trying to get um the girls' attention, the new girls' attention. The other 2, JH and KB, were kind of split between, her and WJ. And when they had the person who won that competition was JH. So he went on a date. So he won that he was going on a date with the new girl. But they were like, oh, guess what? You can invite someone else to go on this date with you. So she asked KB to go on the date with her. So now all three of them are in the amusement park, and um, he gets bubbles in his face, so he has to sneeze. But part of me kind of felt like it was WJ who sent the little boy to like blow the bubbles in his face, because the thing that the little boy said, I'm like, it's kind of weird that he would say that. So at the amusement park, they go on a scary ride because now he can't lie. They go on a scary ride, and the director tells WJ that she has to go on the ride as well. So like, while this ride, it's a crazy ride. It goes around in a circle, and then after that they choose which side of the circle they want to shake more than the other. So on one side was KB, JH, and the new girl, and then on the other side was um right across from them was WJ and the two other people who work on set. And when they were shaking her side, her hand was not holding on properly. So like KB jumps to the other side to like grab her, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? Because he doesn't make it, and he's just like in the middle. So now she's forced to try to go get him, and they're both just like in the middle of the ride that's like turning around in a circle. So like when they get off the ride, there's like this group of people who's trying to take a photo with JH, and like they're being bullies, and they start asking him for money. And then it's like JH just gets an anxiety attack, and he doesn't know what to do. So then KB, who's still in his I can't tell a lie phase, runs to his defense, and he pretty much sticks up for JH. So now, following later at night, apparently it was the new girl's birthday. But um, WJ's mom called her, and it was also her birthday. So they made a cake for the new girl to celebrate on the show. But then JH knew that it was KB. JH knew that it was WJ's birthday, so he had his staff bring her a cake, and you know but then the staff people had like a split reaction. Some of them were like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot your birthday, happy birthday. And then you had some other people who were like rude and was like, oh, why are we celebrating a birthday now when we have all this stuff to do? And I'm like, you didn't have a problem celebrating the girl's birthday on set, so what's the difference between cutting cake with you guys now? Or better yet, you don't have to eat the cake. Like, the cake's not for you. It's not your birthday. Like, go ahead and keep doing your job. But anyway, that made her feel uncomfortable. So when she was questioning JH, she was pretty much mad. But she was asking him about like first love, and like how did it feel for your first love to come back. And when he was responding, he wasn't really talking about the other girl. He was talking about WJ, and how, oh, before in their relationship, he couldn't do much for her, but now that he has money, he can pretty much take care of her. So he was kind of like, quote, reminding her of that fact. Um, but, you know, the, but later that night, KB is the one who went and pretty much helped her celebrate her birthday. He made her favorite meal, and then after that, which was funny because he also made that meal. One of the competitions was to make a meal for the person you're thinking about, make breakfast for the person you're thinking about, and he made that same exact meal. So she was like looking through the thing and she was like happy, um but then he went to ask the other girl. But towards the end of episode 6, you know, the fact that the new girl came in, she's sharing a room with the girl that partners with KB. So now she leaves because she got a phone call from her boyfriend. And I think that the new girl did something on purpose and just kind of made her leave, but I'm not 100% sure if that's the case. We'll find out in episode 7 if that's exactly what she did. But so she's not here anymore. So that means there's a girl missing. So now they need to replace her. At the end of episode 6, they show you that WJ is the person that's going to replace her. So now she's going to be part of the competition as well, which is funny because they could have used anyone else to be part of that competition, but for some reason it had to be her. So we're going to see how she can differentiate between, being a contestant and being a writer slash staff member. And then the other thing to note too is when the shoot started in episode 5, Quebec's brother, KB's brother, came to deliver some drinks that his mom sent, and his brother thought that he was embarrassed. But the thing is, he's not really embarrassed at the family. It was because when the brother brought the drinks, um, W no JH team had already brought everyone food. So to him, it kind of made it like JH already one upped him. But everybody was coming to get his drinks because it was homemade. So people kind of liked the fact that, they got to drink homemade stuff. And then the brother is taking a liking to the director. She told him that he could stay because they're understaffed. So now the brother's been working with the crew with everything. So it seems like the brother and the director are gonna get together. So we're gonna see what's gonna happen. Halfway through episode 7, you know, pretty much the first half is talking about like what led up to her being on the show, which being on the show is awkward itself because she can't differentiate the two, and she's not really a good actress. She's just as awkward as KB was in the beginning of the show, of the variety show. So they also show you that, it was JH idea, and he told everyone that they used to date. And then they also showed you that it was in fact the new girl who made the one that partnered with KB. She made her go away. She pretty much threatened her and was like, if you don't go, I'm gonna reveal your secret to everyone, that you have a boyfriend. And KB overheard her doing that, so he confronted her about it, and she was like, is it because you like her that much? And he was like, I don't like her at all. And then she's like, well, if it's not me, if it's not her, then who is it you like? And it finally clicked to her that it's WJ that KB likes. So now I bet you she's gonna try and sabotage WJ. Like she's a total mean girl. Like she's not nice. And you have all these four guys who were like, "Oh, my first love," da 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 da. But in reality, they don't care about her, because JH is obsessed with WJ. KB is obsessed with WJ. Even when it was the choice of the men to pick the woman, even though didn't know which item belonged to who, but the other girls were signaling, like one of the other girls was signaling to the guy which item was hers so that he would choose her. Like no one right now is like interested in her really. And the whole basis of this show is because KB gave WJ his journal, because that used to be a way to help him. So he gave it to her to like kind of relax her if she wanted to write some stuff. But his journal had a bunch of stuff from his high school days. So that's where she saw the information. That's where she saw that JH and KB went to school together, and he saw the whole first love thing. So she contacted the girl, and the girl pretty much told her everyone else that they had that May had a crush on her, and that's how they were able to come on the show. That was pretty much the whole basis of the show. And now that the girl left, now that the other girl left, KB's partner left, and WJ is on the show now, her, even though it's her show, her whole name is going to be scrubbed off, the credits, because they can't be like, oh, a writer is on the show as well. So they're scrubbing her name, and I bet you that other writer is going to make it that it's her name that's on top. And the other thing they revealed here in the first 30 minutes was her WJ's mom came to visit after she found out that the girl was on the show. But what I found funny is that she came with the little boy. So this whole time I'm like, okay, it's her son. The 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 ex-boyfriend might find out that she has a kid. So so a little bit after, the brother is still here. So the brother was eating a sandwich, and then the little boy came next to him and tried to talk to him, but the brother was being like, right? So then KB came to like tell the brother to go home, and then he saw the little boy, and then he was like, "Oh, how are you here?" He was like, "Oh, your mom, you said, is a TV host. I mean, works in television." And then they were like, "Oh, you're the hairdresser or the landlady's grandson." So I'm thinking like still thinking like WJ is his mom. But then he calls out his mom, and his mom ended up being the director. So then does that mean that the director and WJ are sisters then? Because, if WJ's mom is her grandson, WJ's mom is the little boy's grandma, and he's always hanging out with her, then that would mean that those two are siblings then. But in the whole interaction, KB was happy. He was like, "Thank goodness." And then the brother was like, "Thank goodness my ass," because now he likes a woman that has a child. And now said child does not like him. The child likes KB though, but the child does not like KB's brother. With the end part of episode 7, is pretty much they had to choose, um, you know, who who the couples wanted to be with, right? So, um, the new girl, the one who's everyone's first love, she pretty much, threatened KB to choose her because she was gonna ruin everything for WJ. And I'm like, you're such a bad person. Like, it's crazy all these guys liked you. But I think what ended up happening is that the other 4 people ended up choosing each other. And, in the end, he did choose um, the new girl. KB chose the new girl, and WJ decided that she would choose no one. So that means JH was by himself, and he's the famous one. So he ended up leaving the show by himself, and so did WJ. And you know, then they like proceeded to do a month later. And I guess even though they live in the same house, they haven't seen each other. They were avoiding each other. Um, you know, but he finally came clean in the end of episode 7 that she threatened him, and they shared a kiss at the end of episode 7. And then episode 8 was just awkward because it was like, oh, should we, are we together or are we not together? But it was more like, technically you guys shouldn't be walking together outside, because the first episode, it's a month later, the first episode of the series started going out. And usually, when they do that show here, when all of that's coming out, they normally tell the contestants like not to be on social media, not to do anything. So if they are going out in real life, they technically can't be seen with each other, because then that is going to ruin the end of the show. So episode 8 was mostly like, you know, them being awkward, not knowing like if they're together or not together. And then um KB got a deal. He was called in to do a a show. um I'm guessing the premise of the show is to go to different restaurants and like talk about them. Someone else was supposed to do it, but I guess they couldn't for some reason, and so they called him to replace the person. So, he was a little there was a little hiccup with that, because that was a restaurant he used to go to when he was young, and he knew that the taste was different. So he pretty much told the lady, and you know um there was like a difference between the lady and her son. They wanted to go different routes in how the commercial should be, but in the end they decided to go KB and WJ's way, and the lady agreed. So that ended up being successful. Then they had to do a shoot to um, pretty much advertise, to promote, I should say, to promote the series. The like everyone, all the contestants had to come and do a photo shoot to promote the show. Um, And then, JH went to WJ's mom to pay a visit because um I'm guessing he was trying to like apologize for everything that happened 8 years ago, and they kind of show you what exactly did happen. So JH's family has money, but he was always like, the way that the mom said, he was always like a troublemaker. So um he ended up going off on his own and just living, you know. But what he told the mom about her and her family was a lie, and that's what she was mad about all these years, because he barely talked to his mom, and the only reason he called her was to get married, and the information he told her about WJ's family was wrong. So when the mom came to see her, and the mom was like, "Oh, I hear your parents are teachers and you work at da 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 da." So she felt hurt, and then yeah, that's why she broke up with him. And all this time, like, she's been mad at him. So when he came to her mother's house and apologized, you know, they are pretty much gonna put it behind them, I guess. But when he came over there, you know, KB just finished meeting with JH's manager. So I'm guessing she wants to represent him now too. And on his way back home, he's texting WJ to like, "Hey, what are you doing? I want to see you. I want to tell you something." And all that, but she left her phone upstairs. So pretty much the end of episode 8 was just him walking and seeing WJ and JH hugging. So I'm guessing he's gonna think like they're together or they're getting back together. So we'll see what happens, um, you know, next time. Uh, um, we'll see what happened next time, and pretty much how this series ends. It's a pretty short series. It has 12 episodes. But I feel like right now, towards this part, you don't really see when he's, quote, being honest, and when he's like, before it was like, okay, you could see the triggers, but now you don't really see much trigger towards episode 8. So you couldn't really tell like if that was genuinely him, or if he was like, quote, forced to tell the truth, you know? And it's like, okay, well, how is this going to end? Is he gonna magically stop having the ability to tell the truth, or like, is he just going to completely embrace it, or like, what is the lesson here, kind of.
And this wraps up our journey on the Review Garden. Thank you for joining me today as we explored this drama. If you enjoyed this reaction and review, please remember to subscribe for more insightful videos. Don't forget to like this video and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your feedback helps our channel grow. As always, I'm truly grateful for your support and for joining me on this journey on the Review Garden. Until next time, and happy listening. Bye.